welcome back to the CSS podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Dave. The gentleman in the middle is Sam, and the gentleman in the F hat today is Charlie. Gentlemen, how was your week?
Yeah, I'm good. Can't complain.
I can complain. Going back to work is not what I really want to do. So, but
that is
has to happen. So,
yep, it does because nobody won the Powerball. So
yeah,
we have to go back to work at least until Monday night, right? So another chance at the millions. But today's show we have. We'll talk a little bit about the Bengals' 2 preseason games. We've been away for a while, and we just couldn't get with you last week, so we're going to lump the Bengals preseason games in together, and then we'll talk a little bit about some training camp battles that we might think is taking place, and then we'll go on to the Reds and discuss the Cincinnati Reds, and then we'll go into our trivia segment and our topic of the week. So, and the topic of the week will be a competition between Charlie and Sam this week. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into the Bengals and their preseason games. Packers, Falcons. Falcons game, 13-13 tie. A couple of the things that, preseason game 1, not a whole lot. I don't really look into preseason game 1 a whole lot, but game 2, the defense played together. That was a good thing for them, at least to get out there and some live snaps. They had a takeaway there, even though it was a long drive by the Falcons against their number ones, but they ended up with a interception. Osai got the interception off a deflected ball. So, my takeaway is, 2 things. One, the defense is starting to round out, I believe. And then our backup quarterback situation could be scary. So with that, I'll let you guys talk about anything from the games that you want to talk about.
Yeah, that was my main takeaway was the backup quarterback. I thought the defense would be fine. I think they're going to be figuring out their rotations yet. I mean, I can't imagine too many guys will play in the final preseason game. So the first 2, I think, we're just kind of figuring out, who the third defensive end is going to be, who the rotational D tackle, just kind of rotational stuff. I think they pretty much had their starters set in stone. But yeah, I mean, the backup quarterback situation is not good. I have no faith that if Burrow rolls an ankle, that they'll be able to finish out a game and get the win, or if they have to make a spot start, that we'll be able to win a game. I mean, done. Like, no faith whatsoever. So I don't know. Lots of people are saying I think it's time to look and bring in somebody else for this final game and see if they can pick it up and do anything. Because, I mean, you've got to at least have somebody back there who gives you a puncher's chance to win a game with Burrow's out, and neither Browning or Simeon can do that.
First off, I did not watch one thing in preseason. I don't watch preseason. I refuse to watch preseason. Most of the guys that are playing now will be school districts, so again, does not really matter to me. Secondly, Bengals backup quarterback. Yes, it's a good storyline, but if the Bengals have to go to a backup quarterback, I don't care who it is, the Bengals are in trouble. They're not accomplishing any goal accomplished this year. So it really doesn't matter if Dave Wolfers is the backup quarterback or Trevor Siemian, whoever they,
Hey,
out there.
Wait a minute.
The Bengals are sunk. So in the grand scheme,
I'm more saying like if it's a game or 2.
Yeah,
I
but
got my clipboard. I can
be
the backup quarterback. Put the hat on backwards.
I mean, that's what needs to happen.
Sharp plays. I can do that for
if the
league minimum.
If the Bengals need someone for a game or 2, what was it? A few years ago they won a game with Ryan, whatever his name was. I don't even know what his last name was.
Finley.
Maybe the worst NFL quarterback can play in a game, and they won a game against the Steelers, I believe. like on a Monday night or something,
Yeah,
like
Monday
10
night,
to 6
yeah.
or
Yep.
some ridiculous, terrible game.
No, they
score.
scored 24 points that game.
Oh,
Well, that was the
whatever.
game that
But you're making
Yeah,
my point is
yeah.
they
That
won
Von-
with that dude, and he
Von Bell blew
was.
up Juju. Yeah.
yeah.
And I would take any of those. I would take Simeon. I would take Browning. I would take, anybody over that dude.
Andy Dalton might
He
be
was
out there.
awful. So
Yeah, that's
So if it's only one game, anybody can play. I mean, the Broncos were in a game when they were using their wide receiver as a quarterback, and they were in the game. The 49ers last year in the playoffs, I mean, they were down to their 8th-string quarterback, and they at least were still in the game in the NFC Championship. So if it's one game, I can roll the dice. If it's more than one game, and really, again, I'm going back to what I said first, it really ain't going to matter. The Bengals are done without Joe Burrow starting. So it's good I'll give you that. It's fun because the good news is the Bengals don't have 800 holes to try to figure out and all that sort of stuff. So that's the good news. A lot of other teams are worrying about who their starting wide receiver is going to be, their left tackle or their starting quarterback, let alone their backup quarterback. So we don't have to do that. So to me, overall, that's a good thing. With the way preseason is for the Bengals, it's really not that important. I would like, again, and I know part of it's probably because Burrow can't play at all. But I really would have loved to see the whole offensive line out there for a whole series. I think kind of like what they did with the defense. They let the first string defense play the first series just to get them some real life game action. I think it still would have been important to have the whole offensive line out there, not just Jonah Williams, playing whatever one series, whatever he did. Because again, I'm still that's my still number one concern. I don't care if it's Burrow, Browning, whoever ends up starting that first game. You got to deal with Myles Garrett, and if the offensive line is not clicking as they should, Myles Garrett's going to look like T.J. Watt from a year ago, and that's not a good thing. First game, so especially with Burrow having 0 reps, or very limited coming into the season, the first game. So that's my bigger concern is we're going to get a replay of last year because, we got the Burrow at again, and we got this offensive line who is, not really getting any in-game reps. So that's
a good take. So with the position battles, right? I know we talked backup quarterback. That's one. I know there's, couple people are floating. Andy Dalton, a name that was getting traction, but I doubt if they'll bring anybody in. Was Carson Wentz is out there. So, he would be serviceable in a pinch. I would feel comfortable with him leading the Bengals to maybe a victory if they had to.
But I guess I've heard Brandon Allen.
Yeah,
isn't he with the
49ers? He's with the 49ers, and they're not keeping
they're cutting
5
him.
quarterbacks. Yeah, so Brandon Allen might be maybe that's who the Bengals are waiting for that cut, and then bring him back in.
Cut down days coming up, so yeah.
Yeah, so yeah. And speaking of cut down days, any position battles that you're interested in? I know
not so much a position battle for me, but how many wide receivers and which wide receivers are they going to end up keeping? Because, you have your main 3. You drafted Charlie Jones in the 4th. So that's 5. You got Trent Irwin. That's 6. You still got Taylor. That's 7. And then you had Morgan, who's your special teams guy. That's 8. So, kind of how's the wide receiver room going to look? What are they going to go into the season with?
I think Taylor is gone.
Yeah, I was going to say Charlie Jones. They're hoping to be the punt returner. He can be the punt returner.
Then Trent Taylor
was gone.
Yeah, Trent Taylor would be gone, or practice squad is what they're hoping.
Gone. No, I'm hoping gone. Not. No, we're not hoping practice squad. We're hoping gone.
Well, but you never know. Depth is important. So.
Not with you again. This is the same thing. If Burrow is not playing. If Trent as a wide receiver for us, we are in serious trouble.
He's wide
not
receiver
starting.
1.
He just he's coming in wide receiver number 4 when they go 4 wide, and he has to come in at one time.
No.
He's done that. He's done that a few times. But yes, I agree. But practice squad. That's why he's practice squad.
Yeah, I think someone will take him.
I think the running back position will be the one besides offensive line, right? The who's going to be in for the backup rotation and how many offensive linemen they keep. I think the running back position of Travion Williams and Chris Evans, and Williams was injured. He's just coming back off of injury, so he'll have one game, hopefully, to show what he can do at the beginning of the year. Or, at draft day, Brian Callahan was pretty optimistic that Williams was going to be the third down back. How much of that will actually happen because of the injury, and Chris Evans is actually doing a lot better in pass pro as far as protection, and Chris Evans could always go out and catch a ball. So I'm looking at who's going to be number 3, because Chase Brown's the lock and Joe Mixon are the two main guys. So that's what I'm looking for. And then just
do you think they keep 4, or do you think they'll cut it down to 3?
I think they'll keep 3. They might.
So one of those 2 guys will get cut then?
Yeah. That's who I think. And, leading into camp, it would have been Chris Evans who was going to get cut. But, as Marvin used to say, can't make the club if you're in the tub. So,
I did see the, I think Paul Janer Jr. was talking about this, that they used Sharping, Max Sharp, as a center in this past game.
Yep.
And so that if he can become kind of the all-around lineman, they can have one less offensive lineman than typically they would carry, which gives them the opportunity to carry either an extra receiver or an extra running back. There's your Trent Taylor. Actually, I would think fronted Trent Taylor. At least I'm kind of hoping that, because he's much more valuable for the special gunner. So they might be able to hang on. He might be, or they keep 4 running backs or whatever. But I know he was talking about that issue. So,
or they keep an extra person on the defensive side of the ball. Excuse me, like another cornerback. I don't know. But I don't
know about like a Wuzier. I know he's not even technically back yet. So I would guess he's not going to be ready for week 1 if he's literally not even officially practicing.
He was doing some stuff.
He's just
shadowing. 7 on 7.
7 on 7 stuff.
He's not. He hasn't done a real practice yet.
Yeah, he might be gearing up. He might not be ready for week 1, but
you still got 3 weeks.
So. Yeah. So, so I had on here the original agenda that, Joe Burrow was ranked 6th in the NFL for the top 100 players. And I was like, come on, man. Don't really want to spend a whole lot of time with that. It's just typical of, Cincinnati, how the Midwest being flyover states, where, last night or Thursday, I don't even know, Friday night, Patrick Mahomes running out of bounds and throws it.
Oh, for the incomplete pass, and they're acting like that's never
for an incomplete pass.
Yeah,
and it's like, are you freaking kidding me? Joe Burrow did that in the playoff game against the Raiders, and then Josh Allen has done it, numerous times, and it's just like, just because Patrick Mahomes does it, it's the greatest thing since sliced bread, but it's like, come on. So, but it is what it is. We're going to move forward now to college football. UC just wrapped up their training camp at Higher Ground over in West Harrison, Indiana. And Satterfield said it was very, very productive over there. Really enjoyed it. He didn't know anything about it as far as if he would like it or not, but he seemed to enjoy it a lot. The team comes closer when they're just by themselves. And, it's one of those things that I think when you're not distracted, you can get a better look at your team, and you don't have to, you can just focus on football 24/7. And with that being said, we're going to be looking at this college football realignment landscape. Since last time, we came to you. I know we're a Cincinnati sports podcast, but it does affect the Bearcats a little bit. with the recent realignment in the Big 12, adding Colorado and did anybody else come yet? Was it
The Big
Arizona?
12?
Arizona.
Yeah.
Arizona.
Arizona
And
State,
Arizona
and
State.
Utah.
And Utah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
so it it
It
affects
started
UC.
2024.
Right. It affects UC, and I know that I think those 4 teams are official members like right from the get-go, so they get full benefits. And UC, BYU, and Houston are only making like a half of the allotment of the 40 some million or whatever, so they're making 24, 25, 26.
Yeah. It's going to take them the third season they get the full amount. I think they get some this first, a percentage this first year, and then a bigger percentage the second year, then
right.
Full
Which I think, UC is getting shafted, and everybody's getting shafted by the Big 12 because, they allowed Colorado and them to get it right away. I don't know.
I think it's slightly different because they went so fast to pull them so that to kind of kill the Pac-12 or Pac-10 or whatever they called it, Pac-4 now, but
Pac-4.
so that they didn't go to the Big Ten. I think that was kind of their play, whereas they didn't necessarily have to take UC, but
no, they didn't. But they didn't. I mean, Colorado was not going to the Big Ten.
No, you're probably right, but I think they were already a power conference, and so that says a little something more than.
Yeah, I guess, but I just think it's just it's whatever. But is this college football realignment where we're going to be at in 2024? And it's probably not finished yet, but do you think it's a good thing for college football?
For college football, yes. For everybody else, no. It's terrible. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if in the next 5-10 years college football is its own thing. And then you get back to the regional alignments of the conference, everything else. Because you've probably seen it, but all the other sports are complaining about it. Hey, I chose to be on the West Coast at Oregon to play softball, so my family could see me. Now I got to go to Rutgers midweek to play a 3-game set. I think you'll see it kind of morph into this. I don't know how many teams kind of thing for football, and then everybody else, it'll kind of go back to how it was. I mean, I've seen people float around ideas of you have tiers for college football, not unlike what they already have now with the Power 5, FBS, FCS, but incorporate a promotion relegation system into it, which I think would actually be pretty cool. But I mean, that's 5-10 years down the road, I think, like I said. And that'll probably happen once they're down to 3 major conferences instead of 4. So once the ACC gets picked apart, I think is when you'll start seeing that happen.
Well, let me read this quote from if I can find it here real quick. Chip Kelly, okay, head coach of UCLA's. They're moving into the Big Ten. Says Notre Dame is an independent in football, but they're in a conference for everything else. Kelly said, "Why aren't we all independent for football? Take the 64 teams in Power 5 and make that one division. Take the 64 teams in Group of 5, make that another division. We play for a championship. They play for a championship, and no one else gets affected."
Yeah, I mean that's similar to what I was saying. Yeah, I mean you could down into more tiers and have a promotion thing if you wanted to, or you could just straight up do that. Have a 4-team playoff and the winners face each other if you wanted to. Actually, I wouldn't do that because that's a bad idea. But yeah, I mean, you could. Yeah, that's the best idea I've heard from somebody that would actually, in theory, have maybe influence over it. So
because it's going to happen. I mean, college football is going to break away from the NCAA.
Yeah.
So now it's just a matter of if college football does that and when does it do that, which I think it will probably happen the next major TV contract, right? So in 6 years, I think that's when they're talking about
it. Well, it'll probably be whenever the playoff.
That's what I'm saying. It's like 6
years.
The
ACC is the issue because the ACC they're stuck there until 2035.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
like Florida State was coming out and saying, no, we don't want to be here, whatever. Well, legally they're stuck. Now things change. I mean, they
Well,
might be
if
willing to
the
spend
thing
a
is,
bunch
if
of money to
there's
get out or whatever. So, but they're whatever their media rights thing, or the ACC
Right.
has some pact that they are stuck until 2035 where they cannot get out unless they change what's sitting there right now. So,
right.
Florida State can, so
Well, they can get out if
They
like
have a buyout, but it's
they
like
have
an
a
insane number.
Right.
they can't just. That's not how it's set up right now.
It's not that simple.
It's not
No,
no,
the
but if
ACC enough a certain number of ACC teams would have to grant them to be able to
okay.
leave, and
but
that's
if
what's
seven, if
the
the
issue.
seven
So,
football, the major football teams leave the ACC and the ACC disbands, then
that's what I'm
it's
saying.
fine.
But that's
right.
what I'm saying. On the ACC, what ends up with those schools,
Or
and
here's
that
the
sort of
thing.
So,
But here's reality too. If the ACC isn't included in the next wave, right, of realignments and things like that, and it's just the Big Ten. You got 24 teams in the Big Ten, 24 teams in the SEC, and they break away. Then it's this and that.
Well, it's up to ESPN at that point if they let them out of their media rights deal, which they probably would at that point, right? Because I mean, why would you keep the ACC if there's nothing at the end of the season for the ACC to play for?
Right.
Like, what would be the point of that? Because I mean, the ESPN will have their hands tied with whatever that breakaway.
Well, they're
deal
tied
is,
with the SEC
so.
this year, right? So they got the SEC,
right?
games.
But in this hypothetical breakaway,
Right.
I'm sure ESPN will be involved.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah.
Well, Fox is the other. I mean, Fox has as much stake as ESPN.
Right.
ESPN has the SEC and Fox has the Big Ten. So and they each have their conference sort of thing. So the idea would be that those would be the two conferences going forward. Everybody eventually will join those two conferences or whoever they consider the Power 5 schools. And then you would go, some kind of like what Chip Kelly said. In a sense, if you had 64 teams, you break it up, it'd be NFL style. You break it apart into 8 regional conferences, 8 regional divisions of some sort. And then they play, Fox and ESPN negotiate to have rights of whatever, however that plays out. But back to your original question, I don't think it's good for college football. I mean, it is not good to see USC and having to play Rutgers and Washington's playing whoever, Maryland and, whatever. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, this is about money. This is about college, this is college football presidents and athletic directors saying, we don't care what happens to college football as long as we are getting ours. And so and when those decisions are made, it's rarely good for the overall system. So, 99% of what's going on is that's the only reason that Washington, Oregon are going to the Big Ten and USC, UCLA. What's good for college football is that USC and Oregon and those guys are playing Washington 12 schools. And, you got these regional rivalries and traditions and things. And that's what, that's much better for college football than the way it is now. And college sports in general, it's awful for. I mean, it's just tearing it apart, and maybe what Sam, I think you said it earlier, Sam, like, and I've heard it again, you have a breakaway where college football just is on by itself. But, because again, the USC rowing team having to go to Maryland, take all their boats is not necessarily a good thing that, all the time. So anyway, I mean, bottom line is it's not good for the system whatsoever because it's just a cash grab.
All right.
But it does give good talk, what hypotheticals, what could happen.
Right.
That's the fun part. But.
And the only other thing that I'm a little hesitant or reserved about, not just with realignment, but ESPN now has joined forces with a sports book company.
No, yeah, that's.
I've
been harping on this insider conspiracy crap.
I think that's
I'm 100% right.
I think that's bad for the game. I think it's a bad look for ESPN because now they're going to manipulate even more.
Oh yeah.
Because they're in charge of the college football playoff television show that is it's just a television show, and ESPN did that. So, but yeah, I don't.
Well, with that, I don't know if you guys saw this, but I mean, this was 2 months ago now at this point. But around the NBA draft, Shams Charania, who's like an NBA insider, right? He has a deal with FanDuel, and he tweeted out, hey, there's movement for, you know, Scoot Henderson to be the number 2 pick instead of Brandon Miller, when every other insider is saying Brandon Miller. Well, it shifts the lines, and FanDuel got a bunch of money for that because people started betting it.
Mm-hmm.
And now ESPN, that's all ESPN's going to be.
Yep.
It's already annoying just having the announcers mention spreads and over-unders during a broadcast, but now their whole programming is going to revolve around the sports gambling, and it's going to be unwatchable. It's terrible. It's an awful idea. It's going to backfire. Because they're not going to know how to regulate themselves. I mean, you're going to tell Adam Schefter not to tweet something, and then the line shifts, and then the opposite's actually true. Like, okay, you're going to be in court the whole deal that you made with this sports book. So good for you guys.
Anything on that, Crawl Dog, or you're ready to move on?
Again, it's just a cash grab. So
right.
When does a cash grab in the whole system? So
right.
ESPN's dollars. I mean, ESPN's struggling right now. They're having with streaming and all that stuff. So they're looking for how can we make money, and SEC lockdown makes them probably make some good amount of money, even though the what they pay for. Over the top. Having sports book, I'm sure is going to make them money. So they're just trying to survive. So I'm not saying that's good. I mean, but I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it is what we got. We got these media companies looking to survive, and all they care about is dollars. They do not care about they're not looking 10 years down the road and saying,
all the bottom line.
Hey, are we going to is the sport of college basketball better because of what we're doing here? That is not even crossing their mind. So
nope, not at all. Okay. We're going to move on to talking about crossing the line. Hunter Green towed the rubber today. We'll get to that in a minute. But anybody got an update on the score of the game?
9-3 right now. Top of the 8.
9-3. All right, we scored an extra run.
Stevenson homered.
Oh, hey. Welcome back, Tyler. So to recap the Reds, since we were here last, they went 1-2 against the Marlins, 2-1 against Pittsburgh. They split 1-1 in Cleveland. It looks like they're going to be 1-2 against the Blue Jays. So that is 1, 3, 4, 5, and 7 or 4, 5, 4, 6. 5 and 6 on the homestand, I believe. 5 and 7 on the homestand. So not a great homestand, or not a great week, I guess. Not all homestands, but thoughts on the games before we get into Hunter Green and Marte.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's a collapse. You kind of hoped it wasn't going to come, but I mean, I think it's just too many young guys, and the veterans you were relying on were DFA candidates the whole season, and I think it caught up to them. They hit a wall, and I mean, at this point, if I'm not anticipating them, what they got, probably 40 games left.
I think 39 after today.
Yeah, I'm not anticipating them to be any better than 500, and they'll probably miss out on a wild card spot if that's the case.
Yeah, I mean, the offense has struggled for a while now. I saw a stat; they're almost a full game over the last so many games or whatever, a good chunk of games. They've scored 1 run less than they did the previous so many games or whatever. So, yeah, the offense is struggle, whether it's because of all these young guys. I mean, you're starting in a complete rookie infield today. Yeah, it helps in 2024, but which again, the Reds have shown this year they really, as an organization, are not fully in 2023 anyway. Winning wise, it's basically a preseason for moving forward. The trade deadline and other various things. So, when you make those decisions and you're going to rely on whatever's 8 with Marte being here that are playing significant role.
Yeah.
Brett Kennedy and, some of these other guys, but like with Marte, I think that he's number 8. That would be a considered everyday kind of player with the pitchers. It's tough. And, you don't bring in any veterans to help out the pitching staff to get them that first half of the season when you're running Dreamweaver and whatever Sessa and these guys are out. Guys aren't even major league pitchers. So yeah, it doesn't surprise me. I mean, more surprising they're still in it right now. I mean, I think a little bit of that's because how bad maybe the National League as a whole is. Definitely the NL Central, better than the AS Central though. So, just in terms of teams, Brewers are playing a little better, Cubs a lot better. So, yeah. What Sam said can happen. I mean, they're probably going to miss playoffs by a few games, and if they don't, it's because the other teams continue to play like crap, and so it kept the Reds stayed in it. They're
It's
playing
not going to be because the Reds were good enough. Yeah,
the Marlins, who haven't been any good over the last month. The D-backs falling apart. I think they're not even 500 anymore.
They were a half a game out of the third wild card spot. The Diamondbacks going into today, so the Reds and Cubs were
they were tied.
They were tied. So yeah,
you said the Marlins,
Diamondbacks.
The Marlins had
2 or 3 games under them. Diamondbacks have lost like 62 games or something now.
Well, Sadak just said that they were a half a game. I think he said the Diamondbacks.
I'm pulling it up right now. Okay. Let's see here. Wild card.
Yeah, they weren't even 500. Because I think they swept the doubleheader yesterday. Well, they swept the
Diamondbacks they're 64 and 61.
Yeah.
Them and the Marlins are both a half game out of the third spot. Reds and Cubs are tied.
Yeah.
Okay. That's because of the number of games. Because the Reds are 2 games in the loss column over them. So, well, they were before this game, current game.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, yeah. I mean, it's I've got to kind of accept. I guess I'm accepting. I'm just looking at this as getting ready for next year now, and anything else is cherry on top kind of thing. So,
well, I think if they're going to get ready for next year, then we won't see Abbott too many more times, right?
No, I can't imagine. You have to shut him down because there were already kind of talks about that, anyways. He's already thrown more innings this season than he ever has in any one year.
He's 17. He's
Williamson's over too.
More. Yeah.
See,
so,
I mean,
just have it.
I
would think you'd bring Connor. He starts. You might as well. At this point, it doesn't. They're over the number of games that it has any effect moving forward on their eligibility thing.
Right.
So you bring. I saw Leon Richardson.
The taxi squad
going to be starting the games, I guess, this week. So if he's on the taxi squad thing, so
that doubleheader game against the
So yeah, I mean that's just kind of what it is. So I'm about a couple weeks ago I shifted down into just accepting what it is,
neutral.
I mean, once the trade deadline hit and I saw what happened from that, I was, it kind of made me, I was hitting the wall at that point. So care about truly winning this season and getting in, then how the heck can I get?
And so with that being said, why would you not see what Benson can do against lefties? Why are you still trotting Stu out there? Let Benson hit the remaining 40 games against the 7 or 8 lefties that he's going to see. Let him swing. Let him get those opportunities. Why are you still platooning guys? Makes no sense to me. Makes no sense to me.
I think I know he
Yeah,
let off.
let
He's got a
off.
concussion. Got a concussion. Hit the wall. Got a concussions and concussion protocol. So
Nick Senzel, here we come.
no. That's we've got that on. We'll talk about that here in a minute. But
He might be Persona 9 right now.
yeah. So let's go ahead and talk about Hunter Green. And today there's a couple of things. Hunter Green making his return debut, and then Novelli Marte making his first start in the big leagues. And the first inning, Hunter didn't look horrible. The Reds made a couple of errors. I mean, he was getting hit, but the Reds made a couple of errors. McLean misplayed when he was infield in. He misplayed a ball. He should have backhanded it. Or get in front of it one more. I think it just got on him.
It had a weird
too,
spin.
Yeah, I think
That's
it just
what
got
Larkin
on
was
him.
saying.
Yeah, it got on him a little too quick, I think. And he just misplayed that. And then Marte, made the first play, routine ground ball right to him, made it. And then the next one hit to him. He threw it into right center field, trying to get the force out at second. And
before that, Friedel misplayed the ball in center. It wasn't an error, but I mean, he jumped and completely whiffed, and the ball bounced and hit the wall. Right. I mean, you had plenty of room to go make that play. So that's a misplay too. Yeah,
and then the wheels. I mean, the wheels fell off in that second inning for Hunter, and
home runs all
he
over
got
the place.
Home run.
Rocked.
He got rocked.
He had 8 hits with an exit velo over 100. 8 that went for hits. That's not even balls that were out or foul, for hits. Oh, yeah. That's insane.
It's the most runs he's given up in a game.
He gave up 5 homers.
Yeah, and
well, I mean, again, I'm gonna chalk it up to his first major league game and stuff. So I'm not worried about Hunter Green. I'm worried about a lot of other things beyond him. But again, it goes back to this is.
Who would you rather have? Right.
This is no. This is supposed to be the case. And that's what all the prospect huggers have said over the last couple months.
Right.
Whatever,
and how's that?
With the tread line, like we got Hunter Green and we got Nick and we got Lodolo coming back. What are you talking about? We don't need to get any better players, better pitchers, and whatever. Guys, they're Cy Young Award winners already. So what the heck?
With their
Cy Young winners actually sitting out there. You could have gotten. Rangers have been pretty damn good since the trade deadline. Yep. But
Angels haven't been though. So
but they didn't get the quality that the Rangers
they got people who we wanted to get.
I didn't want CJ Cron. I didn't.
Giolito.
But so again, that's what. But the whole point is that Green and Lodolo coming back was what everybody kept harping on. Right. Right there we got 2 Hall coming back to the starting rotation. So why would we need to get any players when, again, I don't care who you are, comes back from 3 months off and is all of a sudden stud, pitching. You're going to take him a few starts to get acclimated again. It's the same thing. Take him a few starts.
Well, I think Lodolo shouldn't even come back. There's no point in him coming back.
Yeah. Well, I think it's kind of like Connor Phillips. I think you do give him a few starts just to get him. He's not that experienced. Remember, Lodolo has not pitched.
That's true.
Very much in the major leagues. I mean, everybody talks again. I'm saying this Hall of Famer thing because that's the greatest pitcher that the Reds have ever had. I mean, the dude has done nothing really for the Reds other than shown some promise in a few starts. I mean, so he needs to get as many innings, as he can under his belt, as a top hopefully 3 pitcher for them going to next year.
Yeah. So, interesting fact, and this is just a little fun tidbit. Hunter Green, 9 runs, most he's given up. Dreamweaver, his most was only 7 in a game, and that was the Dodgers when they came back and won that one. But so this title, it's called Bring Back Dreamweaver. Maybe not. But he cleared waivers and
No way. I
Yes,
can't believe it.
Nobody wanted him.
I can't believe the Dodgers didn't jump on him.
Nope,
You know,
and
for
there it
the
is.
for
the
the
Rays.
the playoff run.
Yeah.
Well, hey, you never know. They might, because they just found out Gosselin is they shut him down. He won't pitch anymore this year, so they might have to go get an
Who?
arm.
Yeah,
Gonsolin
did you
for the
see
Dodgers?
his
Yeah.
numbers?
Yeah.
They were worse than Weaver's his last like 10 starts.
Yeah,
That's why they shut him down.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm surprised the Rays didn't pick him up, and then he goes out there with a sub-4 ERA and just looks like a competent pitcher.
But I think, I think yes, I know everybody was targeting this day for Hunter Green. I just think this was a bad matchup for him. First game back, Blue Jays. I mean, they're could crush the ball.
They swing at everything,
and that they were looking for the high fastballs, right? And
well, and Hunter Green's problem is if he's going to sit at 98 and not 102, he's got to have some sort of tail to his fastball,
right?
Because his fastball is flat.
He had that.
He had a couple pitches,
that
couple
was
of
nice,
them, and guess what? They got swing and misses.
Yeah,
but that four seamer is flat. There's no rise to it, and it gets crushed.
I would have liked to seen him, Monday night in Anaheim's a little bit bigger ballpark.
Just have to worry about Ohtani.
Yeah, but you know what? I mean, Ohtani didn't do much when we went and watched him in Detroit. I mean, Detroit's pitcher, Phil Farr was calling him the fat guy. And that's another guy who we wanted, and he did not waive his no trade clause or whatever it was.
Oh, Eduardo.
Yeah. And shut him down. I mean, he walked twice and got out twice, and so you're like, fine, okay. Ohtani's the only one. Ohtani and Trout are really
Trout's out though, so
are the only two that can really do damage in the Angels lineup. So
did you see the move? Not to go on an Angels rant, but did you see the move that they made the other day? They called up their first round pick from this year's draft.
Really?
Yes. That's crazy to me.
Well, who was it?
It was a first baseman, I think.
Okay.
I can't remember his name, but he was from FAU. I think he hit like 430 this year for FAU, but I didn't see what his minor league stats were, if he was still tearing the cover off the ball there. But that just seems wild to me that you would start his service time.
Yeah. Well, they're gonna clear some money off the books because I don't think they're gonna keep Ohtani. So, so they'll have $40 million to spend. That doesn't matter. Moving forward, I had Isbell trying to send a message to the front office. This was back in the Marlins game where he just kept running. Marlins and Pirates, he just kept running his bullpen out there. And, is that a message saying, look, you've got to get me better guys that can go more than 3 1/3 or 4 innings? Because if not, this is what's going to happen. Or do you think it's just David Bell not letting guys, with first sign of trouble, got to get him out, because I got to manage by the book.
Well, I think it's a combination of it's all of it. It's a combination of having these rookies, and they're concerned about that, starting these young guys. And it's a combination. David Bell doesn't have faith in the Weaver and, what's the guy?
Kennedy.
Retreads. And so your basically starting staff is retreads and young guys. I mean, they don't have anybody in between. They don't have those kind of pitchers who are going to give you Bronson Arroyo back in the day. You could trust for 6 or 7 innings. He's going to give up 3 to 4 runs, but that keeps you in the game. We don't have any of those guys. We weren't willing to go get those guys. So, I think Bell was quick to pull the hook and you go to his bullpen. But I mean, I put it more on the front office than I do him. And what they gave from day one. This isn't a recent thing. This is from the beginning of the season when they brought in nobody. We literally were running out, guys that aren't even in the major leagues anymore to start the season. Multiple guys that are literally not pitching, and how bad pitching is across. I mean, the A's don't even want these guys. So, I mean, that's telling right there. It's all these Nick Kroll
Mm.
lovers that are all of a sudden have become because we got the number 5 group, whatever. Yeah, our single A team is good, great. How does that help the Reds right now? So, so I put it on. I put it much more on Kroll than I do Bell, and for that specific thing.
Yeah, I don't think Bell's smart enough to send a message, so I think that rules that out. I think he's just trying anything he can to. I mean, I would say to keep his job, but he already signed the extension, so
Yeah, he's
at
got
this
his
point,
job.
I really don't know.
He's good there now.
Well, and that's why it started. I mean, Bell was always a quick hook, but ever since he got the extension, it seems like, a lot of people are saying that the front office let them down, let the Reds down, not going, and it sort of deflated them after the All-Star break, right? They just can't seem to get anything going after the All-Star break, or and some people are saying, well, I think the guys are a little disappointed in David Bell, but they're not, because they really like to play for David Bell. So that's just conspiracy. That's up your alley, son. So, so, but I think it's a combination of, we played the Brewers after the break, and then 6 more times right after the break, leading up to the break, and 6 more times after, and they have our number. And then the Cubs are coming on strong. Yeah, I mean, we had a tough schedule coming out of the break, and we weren't getting those key hits. We were relying more on the long ball, I believe, and instead of playing gap to gap, and bringing that speed and athleticism into play, we settled. And a lot of that is, we face better pitching, et cetera. So,
and we're running 8 rookies out there.
Right. And we're
face
running
that too. I mean, it's different when you're
right.
I mean, just compare our lineup to any of the better teams.
Yep.
And lineup been any good either.
No, they're not.
They got way better pitching. I mean, they're
yes, they do.
It's not even close. So in terms
right.
of their pitching versus the Reds. So
all right. So so the next one, we talked about this. Talked about Senzel, and he got demoted. Finally, I think he was allowed. He had like 3 days to report. He finally reported. What does it say that they called up Marte to play third with your boy Charlie Newman on the 10-day with a foot injury?
Now, I don't know if the Reds lead the league in this. Maybe every team does this, but man, they are really good at making up the injuries to put these guys on the IL.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times this season have they made up?
Teams do that.
A lot.
Not any good itis is the reason they're not playing. And
Yes.
I mean, the one dude was sick. That was whoever that was a few weeks ago. There was somebody that was sick, and they put him on the IL for that. I mean, what's Newman's issue? I mean,
foot.
What are they saying? Oh, his foot. Yeah, right.
Yeah, his foot.
Yeah.
He had a foot.
Stubbed his toe
issue.
and he closed the door
like
one
that.
time on or something.
Yeah.
But
and then
the Reds are great at that. I mean, Weaver did it. So goodbye, Kevin Newman. I mean,
so let's Senzel's time with the organization, I think, is about up. I think he is gone.
He's
and
gone.
Then my other question was India's importance to this team moving forward, right? So I was thinking this was before he had his second MRI, and he came out sort of like saying he was disappointed in the how the Reds first viewed the injury. He goes, "It is what it is. We're moving forward now." Those kind of things.
The old Doc Kremchek love.
Yeah, I'll go forget that. And so we need to talk about, since he's been on the IL, the Reds have had no energy. I mean, they have been pretty much flat.
None. Yes.
And, so what's his importance to his team moving forward? Or do we think that we've seen the last of him in a Reds uniform?
That's tough, because I think he's important for the Reds moving forward. But I don't know that they view him that way.
Where's he playing then?
Right.
Where's he playing?
I mean, he would have to be the DH if he's going to stick around.
So that's Stevenson's going to be your everyday catcher?
Well, I mean,
Stevenson and
what are
Maley
we?
would
Are we
pair.
talking the rest of this year? Or are we talking 2024?
I'm going to say 2024.
You're talking.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I'm almost done with
forward.
Stevenson. I'm almost done with him.
No, the
Moving
Reds aren't going to
forward.
be though. Reds, he's here. He's
Okay,
still their
then
best.
your-
He's still
then
their
he's
best
your
catcher.
everyday.
Still their best catcher in this. They don't have anybody else.
Then he's your everyday catcher. You don't have to worry about him being
Well,
the
they'll
DH.
see.
Yeah, but
I think
God,
if-
he's
I think if
gotta
they can-
learn.
I think if they bring
learn
Maley
catch.
back, or they'll bring a veteran catcher back, and if it's Maley, they'll split time. I mean, I think they'll give Stevenson the majority of starts, but I mean, Maley's been a lot better than anticipated.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely. I mean, he's been way better than I thought he would be this year.
Yep. His
Um,
defensive game is really good.
So they're not going to be the deep.
Right, and Votto's not going to be back.
Well,
If
I mean, I
Votto-
think,
well, he
I think
might.
that's still a
That's-
question mark. I think for
If they bring-
because you don't have any other money on the books, so
Right.
Yeah.
now
$100
I
grand,
would
but that's it.
but in general they're going to be a
Right,
bottom five payroll. I would rather the Reds go out and spend money on a legitimate big league player, a star or an outfielder over Joey Votto. I know it, but
Can
I don't
you
think the Reds will. I don't have any faith that the
Shohei?
Reds will. No,
Oh yeah.
I don't. Yeah, I don't have any faith
Shohei.
that the Reds will do that. I think do the old. Well, we got look at all these pitchers we got there, and you can name them. There's 5 or 6 of them that could be good.
Mhm.
That's sitting there. Could be again. We live on hope a lot
Right.
with this team, and hope is not a strategy to me. Where versus
Fingers
Hardy,
crossed, baby. Come on, baby. Fingers
Right,
crossed.
exactly. If this guy can do this, or if
Yep.
this guy can do that, but I would rather them take the Votto money and go out and spend it on a top starting pitcher or a top outfielder. But I don't think the Reds do that. So my thought is the Reds are going to spend it on Votto. They're going to say $13 million, which is basically what because you're already owe them 7. So, $13 million. Don't have that many other expenses, and we'll give it to him and be a fan favorite. And Bob Castellini will do his old, let's bring the guys back, and riding the train or whatever, since everybody hates him right now. They'll be more concerned about that, about getting some. Well, the fans want Votto back, and so we'll bring him back instead of spending the money on a player who to put them not just in the playoffs, but help them, potentially move on from that. So that's what I'm thinking is going to happen. But yeah.
So then, if that
but
happens,
back to
you
the
gotta
India
trade
question,
India.
right? Back to the
Yeah.
India question. I don't think he has a spot here.
Yeah, well, especially if Votto's on the roster. Yeah.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
He can't. You can't have someone who is that valuable of a trade asset playing 80 games coming off the bench. You just can't have that.
And with Steer,
And he's going to be arbitration guy.
Yeah.
They're definitely not going to do that.
right.
So
And Steer will be your left fielder,
probably your left fielder,
and,
yeah.
Right.
And he might be the one who subs.
You're the super
right?
utility
Super
guy, yeah.
utility player.
Ben Zobrist type guy.
Because you might have 3 left-handed hitters in the lineup, or left-handed outfielders in the lineup. Fraley,
Fraley, Friedel, and Benson. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, and then you have.
But this is where I would This is where I would rather them to go out and get an outfielder, a legitimate,
Yeah.
upper quality outfielder, because as much as you might love Friedel, Fraley, and even Benson,
Right.
they're still not. When you got the Braves running Acuna, and just look at these outfields out there, so we're not in their in the ballpark right now. I think Friedel, this was a dream season for him. I don't think he's going to be better than what he has done this year.
No.
Fraley, almost same thing. And Fraley's been, he's probably have to get surgery in the off season. They said he really should get it now, but he's going to play through it.
He might as well get it now.
If you could package India and again, I'm good with practicing throwing a couple prospects in there. If you want to go the trade route, that way you don't have to spend big money on some free agent or whatever, then I'm okay with that. So,
All right. All right. So I think we're all in agreement that Senzel's time, he's gone. So you can probably package India and Senzel, or I don't know if anybody's going to take on
that
those
might
two.
decrease the trade value. So.
But Senzel and a and a prospect. Maybe
I think they'll just release him. I think they'll just not
number 3, number 4
sign him.
starter.
Like, I think Cincel's just going to be non-tendered or whatever they call it, for that.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure they'll try to trade him, but he's not going to bring anything. So,
well, I think he still
go,
has.
He's got 1 year of team control.
I can see him go to the Guardians, and, a super utility player for another team and be okay.
Yep. Go with the Yankees and Casey out there. Maybe Casey can.
Unless he's going to be on the podcast, and he ain't going to be with Casey because he's not coming back.
Might be Hillman Boone.
I think Boone's going to be on the podcast too next year.
Boone might be another host of the podcast. So,
that's what I mean. Heck, you could take India. You could take India and Fraley or something. If you trade him for an outfielder, you wouldn't need all the guys we got now.
Right. Because a lot of people were speculating, India might have to learn to play the outfield. And it's like, where's he going to play? He has to play a corner. I don't think he has the strong enough arm to play right field. So that moves into left field. That's Steer. Right. So
yeah. Do you want Steer or do you want India?
Right. And I would take Steer right now, I think.
Yeah, I would too.
I think. Even though India is the, leader of the team, they played well when he's been there. But moving forward, I think it has to be Steer. All right. So let's talk a little bit about the top performers of this past week. Who do you got hitting wise, pitching wise?
I couldn't come up with it. Today's game didn't help. Didn't make it any better. So I literally left that blank. Pitcher, I put Brett Kennedy.
That's who I went with.
So I had to.
Again, he should have been starting all year over Dream Weaver. I don't know. Pitched in the 2 starts he's pitched, it would have been Weaver's best 2 starts of the year. And, I think he's gone 5 or 6 innings both times, and less than a 9 ERA in either of those starts. Why didn't I don't understand that. They had this dude. I don't think. That dude probably would create an iPhone and he probably would pitch. He's pitching into. He wouldn't have to give him the minimum. I'm just out of that. I'm giving him. I might give him pitcher of the year the rest of the year, even if he gets cut tomorrow.
Yeah, I didn't really have a hitter. I'll say CES. He's got a 5-game hit streak now. He had the walk off the other night. So that's nice. That's good.
He did have a walk off. That's a good one.
That's who
Kennedy was my pitcher too.
For the last 5 games, I think McLean had 7 hits. CES had now 6. He has a 5-game hitting streak, but I went with CES because I like his approach. He is a power hitting guy, but he will take that outside pitch and just poke it into, right field, right center for a single. And then today, he had the stolen base that caused havoc, and he scored a run on that bad throw. I like him. And I had Kennedy as well for the pitcher. And, worst performers of the week or who should be demoted?
Henry Ramos. Get him out of here.
Get
him out of here.
What's the hate on Ramos?
Did you see that at bat? And then what was that? The 9th? I could have had better swings than that.
Well, and that goes back to David Bell's management, right?
Over managing.
You yank Will Benson out because lefty
your
lefty.
Matchups. Oh.
Yeah.
He's a 32-year-old career minor leaguer. Right. I don't give a crap about his matchups.
Yeah.
Crying out loud.
He can hit a ball 490
in the United States
feet.
last year.
Yeah. He can hit 490 feet AAA home runs. So
congrats. So could Willie Mopena.
Yeah, I know.
Great.
But I think that might have been a message to Benson saying, look, you need to run out those infield pop-ups because he had his head up his butt on that double play where Vladi just said, oh, you're not running? I'll drop it and we'll get a double play. So
it was a good play on his part.
It was a very good play on his part. Yeah. So, and I think that might have been why he was coming. He was coming out anyhow, but I think not getting the start.
Well, if you do that, then don't start him the next game.
Yeah. Well,
TJ, by the way, TJ Hopkins came in today for Fairchild
Yeah.
and had a strong
Yeah.
game, 0 for
Yeah.
3 with 3 strikeouts. So
yeah, that was great.
Solid,
Yeah.
So-
Well, they had Ramos on deck, and then when the Reds didn't, the ninth hitter,
when
I
his
think-
spot didn't come up.
they
put
put
Tompkins out there.
Tompkins out there because Ramos cannot play the field either. So
I can't
All right,
hit either. So
yeah. So my DFA, I mean, it was Dreamweaver. You know, he was worst performers, but I do like the Henry Ramos, Tyler Stevenson, and he's getting some hits, but you know, they just got to do a little bit more. And Ellie, I mean, you know, you hate to put Ellie in the worst player, but he's got
honestly, if there's a guy that needs to be platooned against lefties, it's him. Holy cow.
he's
He cannot hit from the right side of the plate. They might need to have a talk about him doing the Tucker Barnhart, and you're just a lefty now, dude, because he cannot hit right-handed.
Yeah, he struggles. He struggles big time. So, all right, we're gonna move on to our trivia question, and I had a couple, so I'm going to go with this one since Matty McLean is, you know, people are starting to talk about him as maybe a candidate for Rookie of the Year. You know, because the guy in Arizona is starting to come back to earth, and the only thing that he has more, you know, home runs and RBIs than Matty, but
A lot more.
Yes, but you know, we'll see. So my question to you guys is, in the course of Major League Baseball, since the Rookie of the Year has been announced, there has been 2 Rookie of the Years that have gone on to win the MVP in the same year that they were Rookie of the Year. Can you name those 2 players?
Ichiro's one.
Ichiro is one.
So one other guy who won Rookie of the Year and MVP in the same year.
MVP.
Yep.
In time, did you say? I didn't hear that.
Since they had the Rookie of the Year award.
Oh, okay. When is that? I don't even know when that started.
I don't know. I can't remember. It would have been 60s, 50s, maybe. So.
Johnny.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of another older player like that came over.
No, this was a legit rookie.
A legit rookie. Okay.
Legit rookie. Yeah. Reds fans know him. That doesn't mean he played for the Reds. We just know him.
Reds killer.
No, he wasn't. I think, you know, faced him one time, I believe. A couple times in the World Series.
Oh, in the World Series.
Faced him a couple of times in the World Series. Then.
Well, one time in the World Series when he was a Rookie of the Year. So, there. That's all the hints I'm giving you.
That dates it. So that pushes it back a little bit there.
Yeah.
Jim Rice or something.
No, but you're on the right track.
So it's probably a Red Sox then. So it's either right. So it's not Rice, and it would be like it wasn't Yastrzemski. He wasn't a rookie then, and it wasn't Carlton Fisk, or was it Carlton Fisk? No.
Nope.
Who else was on that Red Sox team?
The Rookie of the Year and the MVP.
Who am I missing? I thought I named that's their best players on that team. I need to call a friend.
Phone a friend.
Phone a friend.
Yeah, I've got no idea.
Darrell Evans.
Nope. Sandwich job there, Crawley. So you got to be thinking. You got the corners. Who's the guy in the middle? who's the meat from the 2 pieces of bread there, man?
I don't know. I'll keep thinking. Those are the guys that are coming to my mind for Red Sox players.
All right. Well, you guys think about that. And those of you that know the answer, you can chime in on Instagram or on YouTube and give us at Cincinnati Sports Scene. You can type it in and let us know who those two people were. We've got Ichiro as one, and you narrowed it down to the center fielder of the Red Sox for the second one. So, okay, with that, we are going to move into our topic of the week, and it is Know Your Alphabet. So, since Sam and Charlie here think they can be better than David Bell, I'm going to give them the chance to be better than David Bell and Nick Kroll. So, however, there is a caveat to this game. They need to construct a lineup using the alphabet. So last name only, A through Z. They have to come up with their starting infield, outfield, starting pitcher, relief pitcher, and a manager. So actually, let's just go starting pitcher, no relief pitcher, manager, because that will give you 10 names. And Crawley will get 10. That's 20. And then there will be six left. So if you use the letter A for your player, A is off the board. So then you cannot use A for anybody else.
And it's last name.
And it's last name. Last name. Yes.
All right, let me grab some paper here real quick.
All right.
Like that's what I'm saying. What do we just like going back and forth, or
you're just going to go back and forth, and I've got the A through Z down here, and I'll get your positions. All right, so
each of my 10 positions their last name just has to be a different letter.
correct.
And it has to be different from whatever
Sam did. Yeah, exactly.
So I can't really play it ahead of time because it depends on what he picks too.
Right.
Okay.
All right. And we can use anybody, all timers. It doesn't have to be
all
active
timers.
guys.
Nope, all timers. So you've got first, second, short, third, left, center, right, starting pitcher, catcher, and then a manager. Somebody has
Do I have to kick which outfield position, or can I just name 3 outfielders?
We'll see when we get there. But I mean, you can move them around because they move around. I mean, in today's game, move around now. So yeah, there's not
What's
like
my
it was
10th
back in the
position?
day.
DH.
Manager.
Oh, manager.
Well, actually, let's go instead of manager, because you guys are managers. Let's go relief pitcher. That way you've got
starting pitcher, relief pitcher.
Yep, because you got to have somebody to come in if you're going to be a quick hook, right? So, and pick a number, Sam, between, we'll go random generator, 1 or 2.
2.
Okay. Or 2, and generate. It is a 2. You can see that. So Sam, you get to. You don't have to go in order.
We don't have to go in order, so I could go.
You can
anywhere.
go wherever, and you got to be strategies, because once that letter is used, it cannot be used anymore. So
yeah.
So you get the first.
Yeah,
pick.
I know. I'm trying to think of some thin letters.
That's going to be a while.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm just going to keep it simple. I'm going to take Hank Aaron first overall.
No. Reds. Only Reds.
Oh, only Reds.
Oh, only Reds. I didn't get that
Only
either.
Reds.
Oh,
yes.
oh,
Sorry.
gotcha.
Only
Okay.
Reds.
I had Willie Mays ready.
No, only Reds.
All right. Gotcha.
Since you guys are Nick Kroll and David Bell.
Oh,
haters.
Changes. Okay. Let's go. Refigure now.
Well,
Yes.
no, crap. That's God.
Not as easy. See what?
Yeah, no, it's not. But all right. So I'm just gonna go ahead. I'm gonna take Johnny Bench.
All right. So bench for Sam. And B is off the board. All right, Crawl Dog.
More important, that bench is off the board, not B. So
Yeah.
I mean, that eliminates Dan, Bill, or Dello. So I mean, I think
That's true.
I'll be okay.
I don't know.
Not having Dan, Bill, or Dello. God, there's not even a second place catcher out there for the Reds. I mean, nobody even any good.
You don't have to go catcher. You can go anywhere. Okay.
Well, I mean, there's,
well, but you don't want to give him the best name, so I would jump somewhere else. So,
it takes Tom Browning off too.
Yeah. But he wasn't going to be your pitcher.
I guess I'll go Larkin at short.
So Crawl Dog has got Larkin. So S is off the board.
S.
L.
Oh, L, the shortstop. L is off the board. Sorry.
Okay. I think I'm just going to cycle through players first and then worry about the alphabet later. So I'm going to go Frank Robinson, right field.
Right field. So that takes Rose off the board. Riho off the board.
Yeah. I'll take Morgan then at second.
Okay. M is off the board.
Go ahead and give me Joey Votto.
Votto at first. V is off the board.
Just realize I'm not snake drafting. I'm definitely at a disadvantage here. He's getting the first pick every round.
Oh, well, we can.
Yeah, it's too late.
I know it's too late. I agree it's too late, but I'm just saying, like, I really should have done that because this is a definite disadvantage because I would have by far taken Votto already before him. So,
well, you had a choice to take him.
but not in 3 picks. I would have had my third pick over his third pick.
Yeah.
Okay. Guess I'll just keep filling in my infield. I'll go
Perez. P
at first.
Yep.
P took away my second baseman there.
No more Brandon Phillips.
Yeah. Oof. No Morgan or Phillips. Second base is looking. It's not looking great.
No Pookie Reese either.
Yeah.
Or Brett Boone.
Aaron Boone. I'll take Concepcion.
Davey.
Yeah.
So C is off.
I'll go Eric Davis in the outfield.
Eric Davis. The D is off.
takes left field too.
Well, it doesn't take left field.
Well, no, I'm
yeah.
just saying it.
Oh,
Who I was trying to
thinking.
get later in left field. Yeah, I'll take Junior.
Griffey.
Yep.
She is off the board.
Foster for the outfield.
Foster.
Man, this makes it tough. Holy cow. Now I'm thinking of stupid names right now. I don't want them on my team.
There's still a lot of good ones out there.
Yeah, I know. I'm blanking though because I'm too worried about letters. And
yeah.
Let's see here.
So you still got second base, third base, an outfield position, starting pitching, relief pitcher.
I can't do that. Man. I can't think right now. These letters are throwing me off. Man, I'm gonna go Aaron Harang, pitcher. Yeah.
Harang. H is off. So I guess that's your Paul Householder there. Crawl Dog won't be able to.
Damn it! You can't throw out names. That just eliminated them now.
Well, no, Householder.
Oh, I can't use them.
Yeah, you can't use them. So
okay,
that's why I threw it out there.
True. I'm gonna go Chris Sabo at third.
Saves with the S. Sabo.
Outfield, second and third. Man, this is tough. Haven't even used half the letters yet, and I can't. My brain is not functioning. This whole letter thing is just throwing me for a loop.
Well,
I feel like I shouldn't have missed Sabo.
I'll come up with another third baseman. So.
Yeah, I did.
Or second baseman.
Yeah, that's what I'm.
Or you could always pass.
No, I don't want to pass. That might be even worse. We'll go Todd Walker at second base.
Todd Walker at second base. Wow. W's are off the board. So you got an outfielder, starting pitcher.
Yeah, I got both pitchers left.
Yep. And catcher.
Yay. Yeah, I'm trying to pick a pitcher now. All the ones I'm thinking of are can't use. I'll go. God, who's better in the grand scheme of things? Is this for one season, or is this for, or do I need them for 5 years?
One game is all you could send him.
Okay.
You could DFA him after that.
Well, I'm saying if it's only for one season, for next year, then I'm gonna get that. That actually aids my decision of who I would choose here.
All right.
So I'll go Gary Nolan for my pitcher.
Gary Nolan. I like Gary Nolan. That's who I was thinking too.
And since Sam already picked this pitcher, he can't go. I was debating between Nolan or Bronson Arroyo, and I think Nolan at his ceiling was better than Arroyo, but Nolan was also hurt a lot. So
yeah, I thought maybe one of you were going to go Andrew Abbott. So.
No, I would have gone Bronson Arroyo. It was just playing for a season, or just playing for his career. Like Arroyo, you could count on him for 10 years. So Gary Nolan, I'm sticking.
Gary Nolan, like it.
All the good letters are gone. I might have to pull up Baseball Reference. Oh, man.
So you still need third base, left field, or an outfield.
Third base, outfield, and relief pitcher.
And a relief pitcher, yep.
I've got a relief pitcher, but I really don't want to use him. I think this guy sucked, but the name is just sticking in.
So the letters we have are A-yet,
A,
E, I, J, K, O, Q, T, U, X, Y, and Z.
You said K is available?
K is available.
Oh, man, I don't want it. Austin Kearns.
Right.
Austin Kearns. So that takes off Wayne Kranchicki from your third baseman. There's Sam.
Yeah, I know. I would have never said his name anyways. So
K is off the board.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to.
Crawley has an outfield,
an outfield relief pitcher, and a catcher.
Catcher.
Goodness. I'm naming every relief pitcher I can think of, and they're all taken. Every one of them.
There's one that hasn't been taken. Pretty good relief pitcher for the Reds.
Not that I've thought of yet. There?
He is still out there, yes.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm getting. Raleigh Eastwick.
There you go. Raleigh Eastwick. That takes off Sam's third baseman. Two third basemen, Nick Asaski
I was down to. I was thinking I was going to have to go with. Oh, I actually shouldn't say because it's still out. Never mind.
Yeah.
I'll say, if Sam doesn't take him, I'll tell you. But at that point, yeah, Raleigh Eastwick. There we go.
So third E is off. So that's Eastwick, Nick Asaski, and Edwin Incarcinone is off for you, Sam.
Yeah.
Those were third basemen.
Well, that's,
So you just have a third baseman left, right, son?
and relief pitcher.
And a relief. And a relief.
Because I got 2 spots left. So
yeah, and a relief pitcher. So
gosh, I really want to go third baseman before relief pitcher, but I can't think of a third baseman. This is not good. I cannot think of anybody.
well, you can pass and come back.
This is just, I can't get Baseball Reference to work. I'm trying to pull up seasons here and just click a random season, just get a name.
Go with the lost decade and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
I'm ready with my other 2.
All right, I'm pull up a name here.
Give you 30 more seconds and then
All right.
pass.
All right. A's still on the board. J is still on the board, right?
Mm-hmm. Jay is still on the board.
That helps. Johnson floating around somewhere. Oh, man. I'll take Rysel and Glacius as my relief pitcher. There we go.
There you go.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought of him.
Yep. So I is
All
off
right,
the
I just
board.
gotta find a third baseman.
Okay, I'll do for my last outfielder. I'll take Dimitri Young.
Dimitri Young, the meat hook.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And there went Joel Youngblood.
Man.
And Alex Young as your relief pitchers. So.
That's taken too. Let's see. So A.
You got AJ, O, Q, T, U, X, and Z.
Man, this is rough.
I put the pressure on you. I'm ready for my last one.
Yep.
And I can actually go two ways with my last one, so doesn't matter what you do.
30 seconds there, son.
All right. Gosh, oh man, this guy even played third base. Let's see. I'll just take him if he did.
Utility infielder.
Yeah, it looks like he played some third, so I guess we're gonna have to go with Paul Yanish.
Paul Yanish. All right, and that leaves Crawley
great.
with his catcher, and I think I know where he's going.
I'm gonna go Joe Oliver.
That's what I thought.
And if he would have taken an O, I could have had Eddie Taubensee.
Eddie Taubensee, yep.
So, but Joe Oliver.
So, all right. So running down the lineup for Sam, he had Votto at first, Walker at second, Concepcion at short, Yanish at third, Austin Kearns in left, Griffey in center, and Robinson in right. Starting on the mound is Aaron Harang. And then in the bullpen is Raisel Iglesias, and Johnny Bench is catching. For Crawley, he has Perez at first, Morgan at second, Larkin at short, Sabo at third, Foster, Davis, and Young in the outfield. Joe Oliver is calling the game. Gary Nolan on the mound, and Raleigh Eastwick to shut it down. So pretty good. We'll have to put it to a fan vote out there. Be looking for it on YouTube and Instagram at Cincy Sports Scene. And hopefully you guys enjoyed that. I know it was a little nerve-wracking trying to come up with some names.
Yeah.
It was tough, but yes, there was some good. There were some good names out there that you could have had. I was thinking Luis Quinona for your third baseman there at the end. But it is what it is. So
I almost used Tom Hume as my reliever, but
boom.
Thankfully, Raleigh Eastwood popped in my head. So.
Popped in your head, huh? Yeah. Well, H was gone because he picked Harang early.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I had.
Yeah,
Okay, good. So I would.
Yeah, so you could have went with. Yeah. So that was a good one. All right. Next week, we'll be breaking down I think we'll do some college football predictions because college football is going to be starting here. So we'll definitely talk more Bearcats.
Is it next week 0, next Saturday?
Yeah,
there's
week
like
0.
7 or 8 games, I think.
Yeah, and I think we're going to have to push it to Tuesday night. If that's all right with you guys, because I'll be flying back. Benj and I will be flying back from Colorado on Sunday. So I think if you can do Tuesday night of next week, if not, we'll look at something.
As of now, I can.
Okay, so let's put it down 7:00 Tuesday night or 7:15, something like that. I know I have a meeting after school, but up in Miami, and but that shouldn't take more than an hour. So yeah. So we'll predict conference champions. Okay, so talk UC in the Big 12, predict their win total, and talk Reds, talk Bengals, training camp stuff, and then the following week we'll make our Bengals predictions on the year. So, and then I think it's. Is it your turn, Sam, or is it Crawley's turn?
Yeah, it's mine.
All right, so Sam might have the topic of the week and the trivia for next week. Until then, appreciate you all listening and tuning in.
Real quick, Fred Lynn, by the way.
Freddie Lynn is the correct answer, yes.
Yeah.
So there
and I don't know if I gave out did I ever give out my trivia answer from last week? The school that
No, you did not.
won the Big Ten.
Yeah,
and
we
all
forgot.
Those things.
Yeah, yes, we forgot. So what was that, Crawl Dog?
University of Chicago.
University of Chicago.
I was in the Big Ten in the first, I guess, I don't know when they left, but the 30s, they were like a powerhouse. So I think because they had the Heisman Trophy winner and all that stuff. So
Who was the Heisman Trophy winner?
I don't know off the top of my head.
Yeah. Find out for next time.
All I can think of in the 30s like Red Grange, but I think
Red
he went to
Grange,
Illinois.
yeah, he went to Illinois. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jim Thorpe. I don't know when Jim
Well,
Thorpe
he's
was,
even
but
earlier.
older.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. All right. Until next week, we'll be coming live on YouTube Tuesday nights, 7 p.m. So until then, have a great week, everybody.
See you.
Take care.